ASMballeR here, and today, I am back with another video. In today's video, as you can see, it's going to be a little bit of a quick type of video. In today's video, I'm just going to be talking about who I think are the NBA's most untouchable players in the league. Now, what I mean by that is players that I genuinely think if they were offered X player, #1 draft pick, this, that, and the other, the whole kitchen sink per se, they would still not give up this one player. I thought this would be a pretty cool idea, and since there are just so many great young stars in today's NBA, established NBA legends in the league still, it's kind of an interesting type of topic to think about, talk about, and maybe even relax to. So that's what I'm going to be bringing to you guys tonight. So make sure you sit back and relax, and also, like the video before you maybe shut your eyes or get really comfortable. That'd make me very, very, very happy. It's free and it's awesome to do. And also you can subscribe to the channel if you are interested in more NBA topics, sports content, just traditional ASMR. That would also be very nice as well. If you have any ideas for videos, please let me know down in the comments. I'm starting to have a little bit of a struggle here, and it could be RP ideas, ASMR trigger ideas, more sports ideas. Definitely let me know. I don't know if you guys want me to do different types of sports, some more baseball. I've been playing MLB The Show a lot, maybe some more NFL, or just go back to traditional ASMR. Definitely let me know. But yeah, I think that's it. So I guess we can get started with the list. Alrighty, so the first player when I'm thinking about, untouchable NBA players, most of them are probably going to be of the younger side, players who have high potential, players who have the capability of carrying a franchise for the next maybe 10 years possibly. Some players may already have that in them and are already doing it, or some players that maybe need a little bit of extra help, but around the right players could be, some of the top talent in the entire NBA. So, with that being said, one of the first players I thought about when I'm thinking about just the untouchable NBA players, and I'm going to get to more maybe controversial ones first, and then maybe later on I'll go into the more established type of guys. But the first player I'm going to be talking about here is Zion Williamson. In my opinion, I feel like Zion Williamson is untouchable. And for Zion, he already averages in his young career, going into his third year this upcoming NBA season, he previously averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now for Zion, it's kind of controversial because, if you didn't know, it recently came out in reports that his family, maybe even Zion himself, has been pretty unhappy with the New Orleans, franchise about not really putting together the right team, coaching to really help Zion be the best Zion he can be. And I agree with that. I told you guys that Stan Van Gundy was a good, maybe development coach for these guys, but there's no way Stan Van Gundy was using Zion to his full potential. We all saw Zion, his first game in the league, shoot like 3 or 4 straight threes and knocking them all down. And then since then, he hasn't really been able to take shots. I feel like for Zion to be great, he needs to be able to stretch his game out. Stan Van Gundy wasn't allowing him to do that. I hope that the next head coach, because they just fired Stan Van Gundy, can help Zion sort of transition into more of a 2020s type of NBA star instead of playing him like he's some sort of 1990s center. You know what I mean? And also Zion, just being Zion Williamson, he already has his own shoe deal. He is already known as one of the most popular players in the NBA. And from his stat line, as I just said, 27 points and nearly 10 rebounds already. Now it's his second year in the league, going into his third year. I feel like even if you offered Zion for maybe an already established NBA superstar like a James Harden, Damian Lillard, I don't think you can get Zion for anything. I think he might be one of the very few completely untouchable players in the entire NBA. Whatever Zion wants in a franchise, you give him, because with a snap of a finger, Zion could take your team and make it a playoff contending team, or make you go through a whole nother rebuild. And I think the Pelicans right now, after this report came out, are really going to try this year to really make Zion happy. Alright, so we just talked about more of a younger type of NBA talent. Now, let's get to more of an established NBA player. And me, personally, I think that another untouchable NBA star is Steph Curry. Yes, I genuinely think, again, even for maybe even a younger type of talent, I still don't think the Golden State Warriors would even give up Steph Curry. I think he might be untouchable. He averaged this year 32 points, 5.5 rebounds, and nearly 6 assists a game. Steph Curry this year had one of his best years all around. I mean, obviously, of course, not having the sort of team success we're all hoping for, obviously, with, Clay being out and also their starting center being out, Draymond sort of taking that step back. Steph really was playing by himself, and he really helped carry that team almost to a playoff spot, which me and probably a lot of other people thought that he was going to make him get to the playoffs, which just didn't happen, which sucks. But I know obviously how talented Steph Curry is. He's the greatest shooter of all time, one of the best team leaders in probably all of sports. But I think the most reason why he's untouchable is what he means to the organization of the Golden State Warriors. I think, quite honestly, Steph Curry just is, quite honestly, maybe the most important player in that team franchise's history, maybe even the best, if you want to say that. Obviously, they've had, Will Chamberlain in the franchise, but Steph, with his titles, the unanimous MVP, this and that, being on the 73-9 Golden State Warrior team, he might be, to a lot of people, the greatest Warrior of all time. And I don't even think, again, if you offered an established superstar, a young and upcoming superstar, a number one overall pick, and a plethora of other things, I still don't think you could snag Steph Curry for anything. So I think he might be untouchable because of what he means to the franchise. Of course, he also has that NBA talent. He is an older player, this and that. So maybe you could argue if, there's some players I want to talk about, but I'm going to be talking about in this video. But there are some players that are young in the NBA who are already kind of established stars that maybe if you offered Steph Curry for, who knows what the Warriors front office would do. But in my opinion, in my mind, I don't think they would trade Steph Curry for anything. So now we are going to be going back to more controversial ones. But in my opinion, I do think that Jayson Tatum, yes, Jayson Tatum might be an untouchable player. Jayson Tatum averaging this year 26.7 rebounds and 4 assists. Now I know you're thinking ASMballeR. This guy could even get the Celtics to a playoff spot. This guy could even make an All-NBA team. This and that. And I completely understand. This was obviously a very down year for Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics, but I still think it doesn't matter what you would offer the Boston Celtics. I do not think they would trade Jayson Tatum for anyone. Maybe, and that's why it's controversial, and I also want to know your guys' opinion on it, obviously. Jayson Tatum was already one of the most just super talented offensive players. I mean, he can drive and dunk on LeBron James. He can do crazy step back James Harden type threes. He is one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Can be better, obviously, yes, but he's still a very good one for how young he is. He almost has a complete game besides, facilitating, which again will get better with age and better teammates. But I think Jayson Tatum has almost an all-around game, which every team is looking for a player to sort of build around that type of guy. And for how young he is, how it seems like he loves to be there in Boston, it seems like no matter what you would do, you would keep Jayson Tatum. And again, also being sort of like a Zion, super popular young star who can be, again, maybe even top 3, top 5 of the next sort of generational type talent of the NBA, when, you know, the others like Steph are gone. Tatum and Zion will be the ones to sort of take their spot, per se. I think that he's probably untouchable. But a player here that I do think is untouchable and is already pretty established in today's NBA, if you ask me, is the two-time MVP of the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think that Giannis might also be an untouchable player. Giannis this past season averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Absolutely insane. Now, I know what you're thinking. ASMballeR. This guy won't even guard the opposing team's best player at most time. This guy is super clutch. He can't hit step-back threes. He's not a good, scorer on the outside. How can you really play through him and this and that? I understand that, but it's very hard in today's league to win MVP, win Defensive Player of the Year, win back-to-back MVPs, have a guy to lead you to the number 1 seed. There are a lot of things that Giannis can do that makes me feel like you couldn't give Giannis up for anything. And I think that he is the most generational type of talent that we have in today's NBA. Like, we have, Steph's crazy shooting, we have Zion's freak of nature athleticism, but with Giannis, he is a 6'11", 7-footer who plays kind of like a Shaquille O'Neal, but has crazy speed and agility, and it can just do so much other things. He's a one-of-a-kind type of player, which is why I think he wants to be known as, the best player in the NBA, which at one point in time you could argue he was, being obviously a back-to-back MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, makes a lot of sense. But again, maybe this one could also be pretty controversial because, again, you can't really play through Giannis like you can through like a Steph Curry or a Jayson Tatum, where you can just give Giannis the ball and get buckets. Not like that. He is a very, pick his spots type of guy. He can't shoot threes, but he does shoot threes. He hits like 33% of them at a time, which isn't bad, but still maybe not what you want. They're like your go-to superstar. So that's why maybe it's a little bit more controversial, but at least in my eyes, if you have a guy who's a back-to-back MVP who actually seems like he wants to stay with your franchise forever, I don't think you give that up for, again, anything. I think he might be legitimately 100% untouchable. Alright, so maybe we can get into more of maybe a no-duh. This one, I guess, you can also be controversial, I guess, but at least in my opinion, I don't think they would give him up for anything, but who knows, I guess, because they're the LA Lakers, and the Lakers always love to do crazy things. But me personally, I genuinely think that the LA Lakers would not give up LeBron James for anything. Now, of course, right now, the Lakers are in some sort of title twilight of their career. They're chasing championships right now, obviously, because not only do they have Anthony Davis, which is another player you could probably put on this list, but I think that's only because he had a really down year last year, and I think hopefully this year with some extra rest, they can sort of help rebuild Anthony Davis to, the previous Anthony Davis that we saw, not this last season, but the season before that. But also because of LeBron James, and LeBron James still being, an MVP candidate, and when he's healthy, he can still lead a team when he's healthy, and still have a team be, a 2 or 3 seed in the Western Conference, the hardest conference of the NBA, when healthy. But I guess you can say this is a little bit controversial because, again, LeBron needs to be healthy. LeBron's getting older. LeBron isn't that crazy sort of go-get-him bucket getter like he used to be. He's more of a basketball savant type of player. Not really LeBron, where you can throw him the ball, he runs to the basket, he dunks on someone every single time like Miami Heat LeBron. It's not really like that anymore. He averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists this previous season, which again, like I said, before he got hurt, before the Lakers got hurt, their whole roster basically, they were arguably the best team in the NBA. They were NBA title bound. They were again like the 2 or 3 seed in the West. But then things started to get worse and worse and worse for the Lakers, and that's probably due to because of last year's title run that they had, which was absolutely amazing, but also because maybe it's because he's aging. So I know about that. So that's why you can put him as maybe like a maybe type of guy. But I still generally think that LeBron James, when fully healthy, is quite honestly maybe still the best player in the NBA. That's, who knows. But say you offer LeBron James for Luka Doncic, I think the Lakers would give up LeBron for Luka Doncic because, in my opinion, I kind of want to say this, best for last type of thing. Luka Doncic is right now, and maybe for the next, 5-6 years of the NBA, could be the most untouchable player in the NBA. Yes, I think Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, you couldn't even give Mark Cuban $1 billion to give up Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic this past season averaged 28 points, 8 rebounds, and nearly 9 assists a game. This guy is a child. Like, this guy is barely can buy alcohol, and he's already, taking the league by storm. You know what I mean? He can facilitate like LeBron. He could score like James Harden. He is just a leader. The only thing you really knack on Luka is being a bad defender, but him being a 6'5", 6'6" point guard, he just really guards smaller players a lot of the time. So his big body really makes up for him being a bad defender. So he almost has like the perfect 2020s type of NBA style. And what we saw from the playoffs, nearly willing his team past a team that could possibly win a championship by himself. I don't think Luka, you could give the Dallas Mavericks the world to get Luka Doncic. I think any player, any combination of players, any combination of draft picks, unless Luka Doncic absolutely demands a trade, kind of like an Anthony Davis or James Harden, there's no way they ever let Luka Doncic go. They will. Reports already came out. They got rid or couldn't come to a conclusion on their coach that won them a championship with the Dallas Mavericks, Rick Carlisle, because apparently rumors came out that Rick Carlisle and Luka Doncic would butt heads a lot of the time, and due to that, they got rid of their tenured coach who's been there for years and years and years. So I think no matter who, Luka Doncic is staying put. Anything in their power to sort of keep that, and I'm assuming that's probably what they're going to do. But yeah, those are really the only maybe super untouchable players I can think of. Jayson Tatum, LeBron, Steph, Zion, Luka Doncic. I think, well, I know Luka obviously, but I'm trying to think, what are some other players that are arguably untouchable? I think those guys are really established to already being untouchable. Obviously, like I said, with Zion and Jayson Tatum, who knows if they, get mad at their franchise, they could leave and things like that. That's very possible. But I think if they were offered any sort of type of player combination, I don't think they would give him up. That you can argue like Trae Young, but I think with Trae Young, he's a really good scorer in today's NBA, really good three-point shooter, but I think he could be tradable. Obviously, there's Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets, but for their age and injuries and things like that, I think again, if you offered the Nets like a crazy trade package with like Jayson Tatum or Luka Doncic, I think of course they would probably nudge on that. But Kevin Durant, I will probably put in the category as being untouchable. I mean, this dude is probably the best. Oh, no, he is the best scorer in today's NBA, but might be the best scorer of all time. You know what I mean? So maybe the Nets would budge on a younger player, but Kevin Durant might be untouchable as well. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of that. LaMelo Ball, I think it's a great talent, but maybe could be Nikola Jokic, the previous MVP. He might also be an untouchable player. I mean, the dude can average, 30 points and 8 assists and 10 rebounds. The dude is absolutely insane as a player. But can you play through Nikola Jokic is what a lot of people say. Obviously in the previous playoffs, we saw him play really good, but he had some ups, he had some downs, he had some things. I don't know if you can really play through him as a scorer, but as a facilitator, you definitely can. And I think he definitely has a lot of team value. I think him and like a Kevin Durant may be an untouchable. Again, let me know down in the comments. Kawhi Leonard, obviously, I think Kawhi's a great player, but we've already seen Kawhi be tossed around in trades a little bit, and he might be, no offense to Kawhi, a little bit of a head case. He has a big ego, which he should be. He's one of the best players in the NBA, but it seems like, him, his family, maybe franchises wouldn't want to deal with that, so maybe he would be a tradable player. John Morant is a good young player, but who knows? Joel Embiid, very injury prone, so I wouldn't say he would be super untouchable. Damian Lillard, again, if you traded Damian Lillard for Luka Doncic, I mean, you're giving up Damian Lillard for Luka Doncic, so he's not completely untouchable, but again, sort of like a Giannis type of player where if he already says he wants to stay with your franchise forever, why would you give him up unless he specifically asks for a trade again, like a James Harden or an Anthony Davis? Then that makes a lot of sense, but I guess I could throw Damian Lillard in there as being untouchable, not because of his NBA talent. Well, he's a very talented player. He's one of the best scorers in the NBA, but also because of what he means to the franchise, arguably being the best player in their franchise's history, things like that. Maybe Lillard would technically be an untouchable. And honestly, I would throw in Donovan Mitchell in that conversation as being maybe untouchable. We just saw him in the previous playoff series, nearly willing them every game to a win. I feel like Donovan Mitchell might be another maybe untouchable player. Yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick, soft-spoken / whispering, sort of rambling on some untouchable players. I thought this was gonna be kind of a cool topic just to quickly talk about, just a little catch up with you too. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it for me. So I hope to see you in the next video very, 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 very,